Hello there, lovelies, and welcome back to With a Witch. Today we're setting up my new book of shadows. Technically, it's not quite new anymore. I started it back at the end of April, but close enough. This book is in this lovely light gray Baron Fig notebook, and they're plus size, so it's basically a B5. I've never worked with a Baron Fig before, so I had to do a swatch test to see how well the paper held up to watercolor. It was better than I thought it might be. Obviously, the offside of the paper looked a little damp, but we didn't have any color bleed through, so I'm very happy to continue with my original plan for this setup. I'm starting with the very front page here. These pages have a texture to them, so there's not too much that I felt was safe to do in the way of stickers or inks or anything like that. It seemed like nothing would stick or soak in quite right, so I stuck with some lettering using this blue metallic Sharpie. Nothing profound here, just an announcement of who the book belongs to. Or maybe a warning, I guess, depending on who finds it. I finished this off with a couple of little gold stars. Although it isn't anything fancy, it really served to solidify my theme and the tone for these pages. I don't often plan themes in advance. I tend to roll with whatever is calling to me and whatever tools I have at hand, but from this point I knew that I wanted to continue with that tealish blue and gold color palette, so that was something. Now I'm turning to some watercolor paper. I knew I wanted to cover up that box on the right with something interesting and matching my colors, so I cut out some paper in the right shape and then used the excess to make a box for the left side of the page as well. Then I just went in with some watercolor using blues and yellows, just whatever felt best. I had no real plan for this and wasn't trying to make anything that looked like anything. I just wanted something abstract in the right color scheme and ended up with these gradients that I'm pretty happy with. I tucked them into a book to keep them flat while they dry, and then moved on to my title page. I prefer to write an introduction to each of my books of shadows only once I've finished them, so I'm leaving the left-hand side of this page open so I can paste in an introduction there when this book is complete. The right-hand side, though, is free to have fun with. I'm first picking out a sticker that I can use to line my header. I wanted this to be something that fit with the blue and gold palette but was, in itself, neutral, since I wanted most of the color to come from my pens and watercolor accents. So this mountain range worked beautifully. This sticker set and all the stickers I was flipping through there I received through the Sticky Club, a monthly sticker subscription box, and that particular page is also one of their in-house creations. Now I'm just going in and writing out my header, simple black lettering with gold accents. I'm leaving part of the header open, so when the book is done I can add the finishing date. Then, because I decided that I wasn't in the mood for as much negative space as I thought I was, I sketched out some spiralish, viney, I don't even know what they really are, flourishes. I also accented these in gold with no particular method, I just added a little swish wherever felt right. Then the sticker is going down to frame the header, and I'm adding this precious gold and blue moth for my blue accent. I'll be using the sticker sheet that came from throughout the rest of the pages. Again, I got it through Sticky Club, but this page in particular was created by Koyamori. Next up is a spread for the 2021 Lunar Calendar. If you've seen some of my other layouts, you'll know that I do most of my planning by the lunar cycle rather than by the monthly cycles, so this calendar frequently comes in handy. I'm adding an abridged doodle of the moon cycle to the header, skipping the full moon for the sake of symmetry, and then accenting with the gold. Now I'm adding all of my moon titles. I've been thinking about changing what I call each moon so that they better match things that I connect with, but the labels I'm using for now are those traditionally recognized by, NASA and such. I did misalign the frost moon on the right page, unfortunately, but I have no whiteout at the moment, so I am stuck with it. From a distance, it doesn't look too terrible, but it was really bothering me while I was creating this page. Below each header, I added the dates that correspond with the various phases of the moon cycle. To keep it simple, I just call out the major quarters: the new moon, the first quarter, or as I call it, the dawn moon, the full moon, and the third quarter, or the dusk moon. Following each moon, I just gave the list of dates that fall within that quarter. For the first page, I was super proud of myself for not mucking anything up. That was like a running narrative of my head. Oh, look how good you're doing. And then my cat came and started messing around, and I forgot whether I was working on June dates or July, and I mislabeled a couple things, and it was just a bit downhill from there. So I have quite a few boo-boos on the left page, but I don't think they stand out too bad at all. Last thing content-wise, I'm just circling the astrological dates of the Sabbats in gold, and then I'm going back to the sticker sheet and adding some happy stars in the negative space. Next spread. This left-hand page is going to be for this book's tarot card, the card I'm planning to keep with me in all of my endeavors while this book is acting as my tool and as my guide. I'm using the Enchanted Blossoms Oracle deck, which is brand new to me actually, but it is absolutely adorable. Each of its cards feature a flower and a butterfly that match the emotion or energy that the card is labeled with, which is already pretty great, but the best part is that each butterfly is drawn as a little dragon, and I love them all so much. They're so cute. Beginnings is what popped for me, daffodils and the violet copper butterfly. I pasted a copy of the card in the center of the page, resketched and then wrote over the title so that I was centered with the card, then split the page in half on the diagonal. The left side of that is going to be for my current understanding of the card, and the right will be for when this book is finished, and for my reflections on how this card guided me in the time in between. Because this deck is new to me, I wanted to reference the guidebook a bit more than I usually would, just to make sure that my sense of the art and their communication was apparent to me. Some decks, for instance, put everything out there to be seen up front. You can pretty much just take the name and the illustration at face value. Other decks, though, leave a lot in the details. This deck appears to largely be the former, but I copied out the guidebook's last paragraph on this card regardless, just because it sounded pretty and it spoke to me. Then I just added a couple of other thoughts about what I felt this card was telling me. The last sentence of that interpretation was, "watch me." And something about that was really sticking with me, so although this right-hand page would usually be for one word that I wanted to reflect on, I instead went with that phrase, "watch me." I went in with a pencil first and laid out exactly where and in what fonts I wanted to place each version of the phrase, then I just went over everything with my black and gold pens. Lastly, more stickers, and then on to the last set of pages. Now these pages take up a lot of space, but they're basically all just repeats of each other. At the beginning of 2021, I gave myself a list of various goals that I wanted to accomplish. Not life goals, not these broad categories like you see in my level 10 life spreads, but specific, actionable things that I wanted to do for no other reason but for my own enjoyment. I framed them in a variation of 21 things to do in 2021. Instead of 21 individual things to do a single time, I chose a few things that I wanted to do 21 times. So 21 hikes, 21 books, 21 spells. You get the idea. These pages are meant to document what I do in those regards while I'm working in this book. I go through books fairly quickly, so I only included spots for 4 things in each category, but I figure I can always fit in more if need be. I thought I wanted these pages to just be fairly simple, but like with the title page, I wasn't digging the negative space, so I went through with those flourishes again and just filled that in. With that, everything is basically finished besides some extra accents. Blue watercolor brought our blue accent back to each page, and blue corners on each of the goal pages wrapped them up fairly well. The last thing was just to finish up the stickers from that sticker page. I try to use all of the stickers from a page in one theme, at least when they match a theme or color palette within themselves. That usually keeps me from having random sticker pages with only a straggling sticker or two left on them. And I always like what the extra additions bring to my pages anyway, so it's no hardship. This particular page really is beautiful. I'm really glad I randomly chose a color scheme that they worked with, and all of the stickers really brought something extra to my pages. The very last thing to do is to just go back in with our watercolor sheets and paste them in. This was far more of an endeavor than I was expecting. I knew that the texture on these pages would make it hard to stick things to, but boy, I did not expect it to be that bad. In the end, I just had to add a lot of extra glue and hold them down for a really long time, including by closing the book and basically just putting my entire weight into holding down the covers so that everything got nice and flat and secured. Once everything was down though, I really love it. I'm a big fan of how these pages turned out, actually. Simple but pretty, bright but not too busy. I don't know, I'm pleased. I hope this video has left you equally pleased. If you enjoyed it, I would greatly appreciate you throwing it a like, and if you made it this far, drop a gold star down in the comments. And if you're interested in seeing more pages or doing other things with me, a witch, be sure to subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, I hope your world is bright and full of opportunities for new beginnings. Bye!